Here I'll show you how to make a little seahorse. To start, we're going to need to make the fish base. Fold in half to make a triangle. Give that a good crease and then unfold. Now we're going to fold the edges of our square into the middle line that we just creased. We'll give this fold a nice hard crease and then unfold it and fold the other edges of the square in towards the middle. Now we're going to fold this in half to make a triangle from the other direction, but it's not actually necessary to crease the whole thing. I'm only going to crease from this point here and this point here. We're going to use these creases as guidelines to make a rabbit ear fold. Pinch these sides in and you'll notice this flap sticks up. Now we just have to lay that flat and that's our rabbit ear fold. Let's rotate this and do the exact same thing on the other side. And that's our fish base. Now we're going to do a mountain fold along that middle crease and fold this thing in half. Now let's position this so the flap is pointing down. We're going to take that flap and fold it up at an angle. Now we're going to take the point of this flap and fold it down. We'll give that a good crease because we're going to use it as a guideline so that we can take the point of this flap and hide it. Now we'll open this up from the back and use those guidelines to tuck this flap out of the way. And that's going to be one of the fins of our seahorse. We'll flip this over and do the exact same thing on the other side. Now we're going to take this edge here and fold it back on itself. It doesn't have to quite reach the back of the seahorse, but pretty close. We'll flip this over and do the exact same thing on the other side. This will eventually become our tail, and now this top part we're going to start turning into our head. We'll fold this top section down at an angle like this. Give it a good crease so we can use that as a guideline for an outside reverse fold. We're going to open it up like this and fold back along those creases. Now we're going to fold this flap forward so we can make a crease for another outside reverse fold. After creasing just like before, we'll open it up and push back along those guidelines until it pops and reverses. Now we'll do a couple things to shape the head. We don't want a sharp pointed beak, so we'll tuck that in. If you're a beginner, you can actually just leave this head as is. But if you want a little more detail, you can further shape the head by doing a crimp fold, which is basically 2 consecutive reverse folds. And there you go. There's the head of our seahorse. Now we're going to use that same technique of crimping or consecutive reverse folds to create the curvature of the tail. We'll fold the tail backwards and up, and then forward and down. Give that a good crease, and then we'll open it up from the front. As you open it up, you'll need to reverse the creases on the back flap. Once you do that, you should be able to tuck everything in and squash it down. And there's your crimp. Do this 2 to 4 more times until you have the curvature that you're looking for. When you get to this final tip here, to make things a little bit easier, you can simply do an inside or outside reverse fold. And there you go, 1 seahorse. Now we have 3 seahorses.